Hello, everyone. Welcome to the episode of Connecting with Karyn Clarke. This is episode number 14. And my name is Sam Lee. I'm the founder of Connect with Confidence, and I'm interviewing Karyn Clarke. So, how are you today, Karyn?
Really well, thanks, Sam. It's a beautiful day, beautiful spring day here in northwest Sydney, where I am.
Yeah, likewise. It's very blue skies, and then yeah, spring's always the best season, don't you think?
No, my favourite season, if I have to pick one, is autumn
Oh,
because
autumn.
I'm not fond of the heat. And in autumn, I love the fact that the severe heat goes, but the days are still warm enough for it to be pleasant outside, but the nights are cool for comfortable sleeping. So
Uh,
there you go. If I had to pick one, it's autumn.
oh, awesome. Wow, that's great. It's good to learn something new from you. Yeah. So what was what did you go up to in the weekend? What did you do over the weekend?
Um, on Saturday, I spent some time with my son and his 5-year-old daughter, so that was good. The weather was fine, so we had some outdoor fun, trampoline, going down to the orange orchard, picking the last few oranges, and
Uh,
some indoor games, and we made pizza together for lunch. So yeah, that was good.
wow. Did
Sunday, basically, Sunday I basically rested, caught up on a few household things, did a bit of cooking, did church online. So yeah,
mm, looks pretty relaxing for
that was
you
it.
over the weekend.
Sorry, Sam, I didn't quite hear that.
Oh, like I mean, yeah, sounds pretty relaxing over your end. Sounds very chilled, and
It
yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
You do your
Did you
grandma
manage?
duties.
Yeah, well, she's with the other four grandchildren. They're all teenagers, so
Oh
I
wow.
used to like spending time with them on what I'd call nana dates.
Yep.
We'd go to the movies and out for lunch, or yeah, the activities depended on their age range. But
Mm.
now that they're all teenagers and a couple of them driving independently, things like that,
Oh wow.
they've got other things to do along with studying for school exams, weekend sport, and so yeah. So, but the little one, she still likes the company, so that's good.
That's good. Enjoy that time while it lasts, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess like so your hobbies are what do you like what are you passionate about outside of work doing, Karen? Outside of work, what do you like to do like in terms of your passion? Not on
I
hobby.
love I love music, Sam.
Oh, you
Now,
like music.
strangely, I don't play any instruments.
Yeah.
That's a retirement goal when I get round to it. Look, when I was much younger, I was kind of self-taught a bit with the guitar, acoustic guitar and piano. I was a teacher in those days, so worked with young kids, so that came in useful. But I didn't keep either of them going. So a retirement goal is to probably get myself a little keyboard
Yeah.
with a headset and earphones so that I'm not bothering other people, and just learn to entertain myself and keep the mind active. But music, of course, so I'm not going to concerts at the moment with the COVID-19
That's true.
lockdown, but my tastes are varied. I
Mm,
usually tell people when they ask, oh, so what kind of music do you like?
yeah.
I say, well, I pretty much like everything from Bowie to Bach.
Bowie the
Bowie to Bach, yeah.
Okay.
So
Can you elaborate more on that? Because I haven't heard of that before, Bowie and Bach. Is that kind of like jazzy, classical?
no, Bowie, David Bowie,
Oh, okay. Just
and
pretty.
and Sebastian Bach, very very old classical musician.
Ah,
So
I see.
my tastes varied.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's something
And
new.
in the last 20 years or so, I've also come to enjoy opera, and I've always loved ballet. But as I said, those things aren't happening live at the moment. But
Yeah.
there are plenty of recordings, and yeah, so I can still enjoy them.
Yeah, just type through YouTube and then you get what you want, I guess.
Yeah, and I still have lots of CDs, old style CDs, and then there's Spotify and iTunes and all of those things. So there's never any shortage of music. And I have to say I do use music to manage my moods. If I'm feeling a bit down and tired and yet I have some work to finish, I'll play something a bit upbeat. And if I'm feeling stressed, I'll play something calming to help me focus. So music's a wonderful mood manager.
Totally. I guess it's kind of like something peaceful when you listen to music and you have your alone time. So I guess it's kind of like meditation for you.
Well, it depends if it's that kind of music. Yes, some other music can actually make you quite restless and even anxious.
Yeah.
So you need to choose wisely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's great. That's good. I actually learned something from you. Ever since I know you, has it been over 2 years now that I've known you, Karyn? Or maybe it's been
Probably 2 years, maybe a little more even.
yeah. Wow. And now I know that you like music. I learned something new, which is great.
Love music, and I know a lot of my friends my age just don't get it. You know, I watch all the singing talent shows on television,
Yep.
and they say, oh, you know, they're all so staged, and the judges, you know, try to be the stars of the show. I say, look, I can just switch off from that. I just love the performances, and I love to see the growth in the contestants, not just their growth musically and vocally, but how they grow as people in that performance environment as well. So
That's
there
cool.
you go. Something you didn't know about me, Sam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're very analytical in terms of observing a lot of things. That's great.
I guess with music, you know, I actually don't know much about music theory, and I've deliberately left it like that. I just want to appreciate and enjoy the music. And I think some people are more sensitive to sound than others. But yeah, I do hear, even though I now have an age-related hearing problem, I do wear my hearing aids. And music touches me emotionally.
Yeah, really.
That's what it's about for me.
That's great. It's good that you have a deeper meaning for music because I guess for me, it's like, I guess sometimes when I'm stressed, I like to listen to some like faster music, but I want some quietness, I want some quiet music, and yeah, it kind of slows me down a bit, so it's good. So yeah, Karyn, thanks for sharing a little bit about your personal life. So how about your business? So what made you so you're running now like a thought leaders platform mentorship program. Can you tell me about why you started that and what's your origin from before? Like before you started on, I know you have multiple businesses. What made you transition from, like, say, before you said you were a teacher of some sort, and then you transition to like as in business. So can you tell me about a little your journey, your career journey?
Well, it's been a long journey, a journey over 5 decades. So that is a long time. Look, Sam, I did, when I finished school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a lot of different interests, and I went into teaching because I thought I always enjoyed little kids. I used to do a lot of babysitting when I was studying, you know, even in high school. So I thought, oh, you know, I'll go into teaching, I'll train as a teacher, and if I don't like it, I'll do something else. Well, turned out I loved it, and probably had a bit of a natural gift for it.
Yep.
So I was a primary school teacher for a lot of years. Then I also had a few years where I was lecturing. So I was lecturing to trainee teachers, and I enjoyed that. And from that, I realised that I actually love working with adults as well as children. And all along, I'd had an entrepreneurial kind of bent. When I was working in schools, I was always the one who was researching something new, trying something new, encouraging people, you know, encouraging my peers to go to professional development courses. In fact, a couple of times I actually arranged for overseas experts in, for example, accelerated learning techniques to come to Australia and to train teachers locally. So I was fortunate that I always worked for bosses who appreciated that tendency in me. I guess I made their life easier and made them look good, which is not a bad tip for if you work for someone else, do your best to make them look good. And when you're self-employed or owning or running a business, do your best to make your clients to look good. So it's all about serving others. Anyway, look, it was through that accelerated learning movement that I was invited to work with a group of consultants. So I was basically a consultant to consultants.
Ah, okay.
And they worked with the highest levels of government in Canberra. Yeah. So I was basically their curriculum consultant in helping them to design their their professional development programs. Yeah. And sometimes I presented little segments, but my main role was to consult to them to make sure everything was spot on, and I would be in the back of the room noting what worked, what didn't work, what needed tweaking, and so on. So so I was doing that while I was still teaching full-time. I also, while I was still teaching full-time, studied to become a clinical hypnotherapist, where I pioneered some techniques for working with children. I did that for a few years, and then I left teaching, and I was doing various consulting gigs in values-based peak performance. Yep. So I was working with individuals and small business owners and delivering some corporate programs as well. And then I became quite ill for a little while. Had to take 2 or 3 years off while my body recovered. And just decided that I probably wasn't going to go back to teaching, and explored all my options. And during that time, I started a website development business, a web hosting business, and that was also when I first started coaching individuals in how to write a non-fiction book. So, and they were all accidental businesses, and I still have all of those businesses. Then as part of coaching people to how to write a non-fiction book, not just write the book, but to write it fast. And part of the ability to do that depends on having a system or a framework. So once I helped the potential author develop the framework, and that program was called 21-Day Book, and it's still available, then I would also show them how to turn that framework into a live workshop or an online course. And that's when Teach Stuff You Know was born. So that's all about getting paid to transform what you know into an online course, transform your intellectual property, if you like, into another income stream via an online course. Now, along the way, I would have to say, in some ways, I was probably a little bit ahead of my time. Not only did people find it strange that a woman my age had a website development business and a web hosting business, I also started outsourcing to the Philippines. So I've had an outsourced team for nearly 11 years.
Wow.
And one of those people has been with me for 10 years and the others for several years. Wow. So I learnt a lot about managing businesses just by jumping in at the deep end, how to simplify things, how to leverage my own time and resources. So, and I've also been a member of BNI, so that's Business Networking International, for 9 years.
Wow.
And one of the great things that I gained from that was not only increased business, but what I've learned from other business owners in different professions. It's amazing the cross-pollination of ideas and how it can help in your business that may be in a completely different industry, from the person that you're, getting hints and tips from.
Mm.
Anyway, to bring all that together, I realised that I actually had an enormous breadth and depth of knowledge, and that I should actually share that. Why keep it to myself? It seems selfish. So that's the purpose of Thought Leaders platform.
Yep.
Look, essentially, it's to help people who are already experts in their field to initially, as I said, transform their intellectual property into another income stream.
Yep.
By creating and selling an online course. But then I have lots and lots of other short courses that are designed, for example, for corporate escapees who've left the corporate world in order to start self-employment as a consultant or a coach.
Yep.
Who find themselves faced with the situation, okay, in the corporate world, they had lots of support systems and support people. And now suddenly here they are on their own, no support systems. And so I've got lots of short, low-cost, high-value courses to help people make those transitions, lots of little hints and tips, as well as the higher-end courses like 21-day book and teach stuff you know. In addition to that, I'm in the process of creating a monthly membership, so people will be able to have their questions answered and access to all those short courses with the option of upgrading to the premium courses if they wish. So it's a big project, Sam, and I'm excited. I think very few 72-year-olds are foolish enough or brave enough, depending, or even just excited enough to launch a whole new business or whole new aspects to their business. But I am excited, and that's what keeps me going. I love the mental challenge, and as I said before, I've got all these skills and knowledge and capabilities, and it seems selfish not to share them to help other people on their journey.
That's great. Wow, what a resume you have. I guess what I'll try admire you in terms of your entrepreneurial mindedness. Like I guess you have a lot of ideas and then you put that into action. That's what makes you have a lot of experience in terms of what works well, what doesn't work well. And I guess everything I guess is something new for you, I guess, and then you take that challenge to put that into action. So how do you juggle all these things in one go? Like I know you've got like a website host business, you've got that thought leaders platform, you've got that thing, you've got BNI, you've got like how do you make time for each of those? Like what's the secret behind that?
Well, the team for a start, Sam. The team basically, once I bring the clients in for the website development business and the hosting, the team basically take over on the back end. And I know you have a lot of communication with Joyce, who runs our support desk. And then she's wonderful. She's friendly, polite, and helpful, and to clients, and she's very efficient behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So she receives requests from clients and she allocates the tasks to the team members. For Thought Leaders practice, I have a separate support person who's only half-time at this time, but shortly I'll be looking for another half-time person so that our support desk for that business is manned pretty much, all the time. Well, all during business hours as well. Look, other than that, I think it's important to know what your own priorities are. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect at this, but I do my best to, over the years, to not necessarily jump when other people say jump or ask me to jump. I look at whether or not, that Eisenhower matrix about, urgent, important, not urgent, not important. So I don't always write that out physically, but I do try to keep it in my mind and just prioritize according to that. The other way that I prioritize projects and tasks even is according to my own values, so, and my own natural talents. So I think it's really useful for anyone to who's struggling to get through everything in a day, manage a large number of tasks or projects, to perhaps look at, and you're welcome to talk to me about this, anyone who's interested, to look at identifying and prioritising your values, because your values are what really motivate you, and also to look at identifying your, what shall we say, your natural inclinations to action. So you mentioned before about ideas, and I'm a person who has lots of ideas, and I confess that even though I seem to do a lot, I am often challenged to implement them. To be honest, Sam, I'd be happy to sit in a room and have people ask me questions and I just give them ideas and then they go away and implement them. And that's why the team is so important to me. So I have the ideas, map them out, and ask them to implement them.
I guess
so. Yeah. So be clear about your values, what's most important to you, and what your natural strengths and talents are, and stick to those wherever you can. And I call that combination basically your motivation code.
Yep.
Because that's what will energize you. If we're working on something slogging away where we have no natural talent, and it's very energy draining. Now, having said that, when a person launches a new business, often they're, you know, a one-woman band or a one-man band, and they may have no choice. Initially, you know, we wear all the hats in a new business.
Yeah, true.
And I would encourage anyone doing that to, as soon as they possibly can, to outsource their emails in particular with some kind of help desk, and start outsourcing your weaknesses to team members. And if anyone wants to know how to do that, I'm quite happy to point them in the right direction there too. All of my team are in the Philippines, and I'm very happy with them. Yeah.
That's great. I guess it's all about
Does that make sense?
Sorry?
Does that make sense, Sam?
Yeah, it does. I guess it's very comprehensive knowledge from you. What you said is actually very true. It's really about not being burnt out, prioritizing what's important for yourself and what you can delegate tasks to your team members. I guess it's really good. So thanks for that, Karyn. Thanks for sharing that. And second last question is, what's your like, you're in a BNI group, like you've been there for 9 years. What's the secret to building better relationships with others, not just in work life, but in social balance life? How do you build rapport with people? Like, what's your hints and tips throughout your journey of
okay. In terms of building rapport, I guess the number one tip is to listen.
Yep.
Listen well before you speak. Yeah, I think it was Stephen Covey. One of my favourite business books of all time is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
And one of his habits is something like seek to understand before being understood. So, yeah, listen, pay attention, and yeah, to get the relationship established, you know, show interest in the other person rather than expecting them to be interested in me. But then the secret ingredient that is really not so secret to any quality relationship is trust. So as business people, if we tell a colleague or a client that we're going to do something, then we do it. If we don't, they're going to lose trust pretty early on. So but I have to say, with in all the time that I've been in BNI, apart from going to BNI, I have never advertised any of my businesses. It's all been through word of mouth referrals through BNI and word of mouth referrals from existing clients that I built the website development and a web hosting business. So now a thought leaders platform is different because once I get that fully established, I will actually be pursuing an international audience. So there will be some online advertising, but that's, you know, that's a different kettle of fish. So, but trust, yeah, listen, show interest, and do what you can to establish trust as soon as possible, and always seek to serve, you know, be helpful. A great question is, how can I help you? What can I do to help? When you find out what their goals are.
Interesting. Well, thanks for that sharing, Karyn. Definitely, I guess that summarizes a lot of things in terms of being succinct on how to, I guess, build rapport with other people. So I guess it's really all about trust and giving your attention to them, I guess, in a nutshell. So yeah, Karyn, thanks for your time. And the last question is, how do we find more about you? What's your website? And are you active on social media? How can we find more about you and connect with you?
I've not been active on social media. I used to be active on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I haven't been while I've been transitioning to Thought Leaders platform,
Yep.
but I'm very happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. I like to follow other people, learn from them, and I will become more active there, hopefully with some, you know, tips and helpful posts and videos. So LinkedIn, just look for Karyn Clarke.
Yep.
That's Karyn,
Yep.
Clarke, Clarke.
Yep.
There's more than one Karyn Clarke on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only one in Sydney, but I'm not sure. I know there's another Karyn Clarke who actually lives close to me, believe it or not.
Wow.
And then there's thoughtleadersplatform.com.
Thoughtleadersplatform.com.
And 21 Day Book is still 21daybook.com is still live if anyone's interested in being coached to write their non-fiction book fast.
Yep, that's great. Well, that brings me towards the end, Karyn. So viewers, thanks. If you want to connect with Karyn Clarke, make sure to follow, go to her website, and I'll post a link later on, so how you can connect with her via LinkedIn. And yeah, Karyn, thanks for your time. This is pretty much the end towards our interview. I hope you enjoyed this, and I really look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Thank you, Sam. Good luck and congratulations. You're doing well.
Thanks a lot, Karyn. Talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.